Well, how on the children to do this? Should the Queen Quet head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation coming to Hunter from St. Augustine. We today for the Underground Railroad Network to Freedom annual conference and things like that. Now, plenty of Hunter children who've been a journey with we, especially if you've been a member of the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition. Y'all remember when we worked with the National Park Service when it been the Underground Railroad study. Then Hunter children would join me when we would get to Philadelphia and think after we get the Underground Railroad Network to Freedom established, we had to unveil the star, that the logo. And ever since then, we had plenty of other gatherings, including the Underground Railroad gathering from the home islands in Telna Island, South Kakalaki, and then we go on the journey to other rest of place. Well, this year, they decided to bring all the different Gullah Geechee, Seminole, Afro-Seminole, and things together from the Bahamas, from Tejas, from Mexico, and from Oklahoma, right here, right below the Gullah Geechee Nation, for all that we crack we teeth together and things like that, and tell them about who we are down here, and how they've been the Gullah Geechee, who been acquiring all these other rest of players, who laid and track for freedom with this their Underground Railroad. So in a family reunion, we got people here from Andros in the Bahamas, from Red Bears. We got people who are there here from Brother Dub Warrior, the chief, right? From the Black Seminole, we're there out in Brackettville, Texas. And we got other rest of families still making their way in right now. But Hunter children can see plenty pictures and things, plenty hugging and embracing. But we want you to tune in to the opening ceremony of this year gathering. And then after this year, make sure to join the Gullah Geechee Nation Facebook fan page and see all the other photographs and things of the family coming together, standing for who we be. And we know we be Gullah Geechee anointed people, Seminole, free, Muskogee, fighting folk, the unconquerable, still on this your coast. They call them the first coast, well, we the first family. We're so glad that all of their children come back to their roots, yeah, in the Gullah Geechee Nation. God bless Hunter children this year, the Queen Quet, head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation, and so glad that Hunter tuned into Gullah Geechee TV Nation News, because Hunter know this year the what going on. Well, how Hunter children to do this year, the Queen Quet coming to Hunter live one more again from this year Underground Railroad Conference in St. Augustine, Florida. But look at children, look who done make it way back across the water from Florida. These your brothers, you come from the Bahamas, from Andros, Red Bears. This the blood from the soil and Red Bears. But see now, what my brothers in, oh now y'all children, listen to these names y'all. Wilton Russell. Y'all know you got plenty of Russell in it. And look at this one, your name, Henry Wallace. Y'all know every other family got one Henry in them, right? In the Gullah Geechee Nation. So you know this the family, right? Sure. Well, see now, these brothers, y'all, we got one the brother here, you wood carver. Still carrying on the wood carving tradition. 45 years. And so what kind of wood you use, man?
Mahogany. Horseflesh. The horseflesh is used for all the boat structure.
Oh yes.
When they marry it together, they put a nail into it. You can't take it apart.
Right.
You know, and many years ago, and then some came over.
Right.
And they built their own boats.
Right.
They even had a reef.
Yeah.
These boats wouldn't tear apart.
Yeah, wouldn't tear apart.
So they go to Nassau. So just go to Nassau, get their own boat.
Right.
Their market, you know.
Right.
But and plus, what being built new really just cut lime trees.
Okay.
For all the dead ones, you know.
Oh, you do the dead one, right? So you're not clear cut. You wait for the one that fall down. That's excellent. I love the way you say that you work for the future. So you help make the boats as well. From a small boy. Excellent. And so do y'all go fish too?
Yeah, we go fishing.
So you go fishing and things like that. So how you fish? You do cast net or what you use?
Cast line.
Cast line. Hard line.
They also walk the water, they can go to the roots, and
Yeah.
they use their hands
And strike it. So you do strike it.
Strike it,
With your hand to it, catch them. So and grub it. And so see now, you see y'all, you get it them say strike it, you get them say the casting it, you get them say the boat making. Now these not Gullah Geechee? Yeah, though. We still make the boat, we still go striking, we still do casting in Carolina, in Georgia, in Florida, the whole thing hunting too. So where y'all hunt? Where y'all hunt? Same thing. We do. Yes. Y'all got deer? Y'all got deer? Donna got deer. So we hunt deer, and we hunt the wild boar, and we hunt the coon, and the possum, and all them. Yeah. Okay, so see, you see the same thing still going on. on both sides of the water. So now we know, say you also a musician.
Yes, I am.
So now what kind of things you do? You sing, you play?
Gucci Gully songs.
What truth, man?
Gucci Gully
And you do the dancing? Okay, then man, go on, sing a song, man. What song you do?
When I've been telling you.
Okay, we gonna get him right up. We're gonna get your TV Nation News and say he's a musician. You know we gonna make sure he sing one song for the family. Now while he gets set up, now tell me, you grew up in Red Bays, right?
My place going to celebrate the school in Red Bays.
Okay.
So snow with us.
Yeah.
Mommy moved to Nassau.
Okay.
That's why she went to high school.
And then you came back. So when I been in Nassau, you been in Nassau. Yeah. Oh, you ready now? Oh, go ahead now. Go ahead, my brother.
When I've been to Nassau, we used to go fishing every Saturday morning. Grab a bowl of fish lines, put them in the box, walking down my head was standing. There were 50 pieces, one by the four. Yes, I need it. Yes, I see the tree. With my goldfish line, head up to sea. With the mercy cry, time in the phone to me. Put the goldfish down, boy, the boat coming down to me. Can't go my line, boy, I'm stuck every morning. One and one, and we're back one and can't talk again. We have another one. One and one, and we're back one and when I'm pretty fishing in, someone went not to the shore. With the monkeys are born, I have to wait in. When I meet you, or someone must have to me. I am an amazing fool, me put up on the meatball. One to my ass, the beast, but I'm not going to go. When I'm in the mama, people 6 or 7 more. Mama, you don't bring yourself down, pistol never done. I said to mama, pistol never done. And the music in my head, want to kill me dead. I am the wicked spare papa. I'm the wicked spare dada. I'm the wicked spare papa. We gonna make it in your backyard, we gonna make it in your front yard, make it in your bedroom, we gonna make it by you all alone. We make it in your kitchen, make it on the board, we put back if we more. Wicked spare papa. I'm the wicked spare dada. Man, we gonna make it in America, we gonna make it in India, we gonna make it in Mongolia. We make it in Somalia, we make it in Ethiopia, we make it in Africa, we make it in Bahamas, we make it in Mexico, we make it for the world, we make it spare papa.
All right.
We make it spare papa. Yeah, we make it spare papa.
Yeah. That was the talk about right there. That's all right. That's all right. That's a family for truth now. Now, it's on the children see no matter where we are in the world and things like that, we have to have music and things like that. We not survive without that music and things. If we even had the drum, if we even had the rhythm and things like that, and so you have to get the dance and all that kind of thing. Okay, that's how we build up these strength and things, but keep on going out throwing and things like that. So now it's so glad. Now, how much people there in Red Bays now?
Approximately 300.
About 300 or so, 360 something. So just under 400 folks.
Yes.
Okay, and so you still got a lot of the elders passing on the tradition down to the children and everything like that.
Yes.
That's really good. So now, when people come, most times people go to Nassau or they go to Freeport.
Yeah.
But then they come over to Andros. What you got to do?
They catch a mailboat
Catch a
from Andros to Nassau. It's like maybe 2 hours on there.
2 hours ride on the mailboat.
But on the plane, it's only 15 minutes.
15 minutes on the plane. And then if they got to Nassau, they can take the plane over. Or they can go ahead and catch the mailboat from there too, right? Because we got to come back. And when I come back, my plan is to come to what they call the Family Islands and see the family. So that's why I have to have your information. Then that way you can meet me in Nassau and we can take the boat back together. Exactly. Yeah, man. So we're working on that with Miss Rita Pratt so that they can bring me back down there and we can go around to some of the different schools Cruz and Andrews, and they want me to come to Cat Island and all of that. So we gonna do the thing, man. We gonna do the thing. We gonna do the thing. Yeah, man. We have had a John Canoe come up yet and all of that, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yes, it's such a blessing. Now, tell me, when y'all been growing up there, did y'all hear anything about Gullah Geechee?
No, just we started hearing of it about maybe 5 years ago.
Just maybe 5 years.
I just heard about it all.
Really? Just recently?
That's why I said open my eyes so much. You know?
Right.
5 years ago I heard about the Gullah Geechee, but I didn't really know that we are connected to those race of people.
Right.
I was thinking that only the Seminoles in Iraq that we were connected to.
Right.
I come to find out 5 years ago. I heard about it, and then when I came into America, this was my first time again. This is the second time I heard.
It's your second visit. Right.
Second time hearing about the
Second time hearing about the Gullah Geechee. Okay. So now this is the thing. The Gullah Geechee is really actually your ancestors, because it was the Gullah Geechee who were in Carolina and Georgia who were the ones that then escaped and left and then came to Andrews and just set up a village. But it was the people who were enslaving them that named them Seminoles, because the term Seminole was meaning runaway and exile. So in other words, maroons and unconquerable people, they labeled them because they wanted people to realize from the Spanish word Cimarron, these were the runaways, these are the exiled ones, these are the ones that we can't capture back. So that was the thing. So over the time, many of our people are now called Seminoles. They're called Muskogee and all of this, but all of you are Gullah Geechee. And so that's why when I came down to Nassau and I came down to Freeport, and I cracked the teeth like I shook, I said, oh gosh, it's not like that on the Andrews. And they said, oh, they're from Red Bands, you know. And I said, no, the people from Red Bands from we. We're not from Red Bands, you know. But it's so great to know that even if it was 5 years ago or now, that our people are connecting and understanding the complete story and how we all link up. And so the thing is, it's our job now to make sure that the children know who they are. Yeah, bring them up like that so they know your roots.
Someone was saying, who am I? Where we come from?
Exactly.
Daddy, who are you going, Daddy? Who are you going, Mommy? Who are you?
They don't know the story. Exactly. So now it's up to us to share it. We share it through the music, we share it through the art, we share it through the history, we share it at these conferences, and most of all, we just got to stay in touch with one another so that we can sit down together and break bread together. Yeah, so they can see. So we got to have one big reunion. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I'm so glad to have a chance to be board for you and things like that. Y'all gonna have to give me a boat over y'all. Y'all gonna have to somehow bring the boat over y'all and make me a boat right now, like a sail around in one yacht kind of boat. Wrong say tell them so it don't broke up or nothing like this. And you run into we got plenty Oyster Bank, you know, I ain't run into them. Yes, it's such a blessing. So Hunter Chillin, we're so glad if I have a brethren right here for Red Bays, right here back in Florida, and the Hattie Gullah Geechee all come back together for this your land where we've been to run through and run from way back on yonder. But look here, when God said the time for get together, Hunter can't do nothing more. And this your time, the divine time for we join together once more again. And Hunter Chillin know this year the Queen Quet, head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation, and this year the work going on. Peace and blessing, family. One love.
The Bahamas' location within 100 miles of Florida's coastline, as well as its being on sailing routes between the United States and the rest of the region. These details all made the Bahamas a logical choice in these freedom migrations. So the next episode concluded with the establishment of Black Seminole settlements in the Bahamas. Beginning in 1819, Seminole Supreme Chief Kanaji paid an official visit to the acting British governor in Nassau to request assistance from the British in their struggles with the American government. The governor told Chief Kanaji that the British was now at peace with America, His Majesty, and His Majesty would not deem it proper to interfere in any dispute between the Seminoles and the Americans, i.e. Kanaji was getting no help from the British. The acting governor, William V.C. Munnings, saw to it that Chief Kanaji's contingent were accommodated until they could be returned to Florida. Subsequently, at least 3 other groups of Seminoles came to the Bahamas between 1819 and April 1821, requesting assistance from the British and each time colonial officials in Nassau were reluctant to jeopardize the cordial relationships between Britain and the United States in order to help just a small group of Seminole natives, i.e. they were important. Then fast forward to June 1828, when the Collective Customs reported the discovery and seizure of some 97 foreign Negroes at Andros Island. Okay, so here we have Andros Island highlighted, the largest island in the archipelago. The person seized reported that, well, after the conclusion of the American War, when General Jackson, with a part of the American Army, entered into a hostile manner into the territories of Spain and Florida, under the pretense that these people, in conjunction with some of the Indian tribes, had committed aggression upon the settlers within the boundaries of the United States, or threatened to do so, these persons felt it necessary to consult their own safety by removing to the east coast of Florida and from thence across the Gulf Stream in boats or in some of the small vessels from these islands, which they met with wrecking on the Florida coast. So this group consisted of persons being black and persons of color. The colonial officials suspected that these were slaves illegally brought from Florida to Andros with the expectation of being smuggled into Cuba to be sold, because Andros is the closest Bahamian island to Cuba. And the British officials were suspicious of that because that had happened in the past. The people reported that in 1821, they had gotten passage on the vessel Shearwater, captained by James Mott, and apparently James Mott was a white Bahamian, a Bahamian wrecker living in Key West. While colonial officials were convinced these people were to be smuggled into Cuba from the perspective of the group, Captain Mott, who was evidently quite familiar with Bahamian waters, landed them on the west coast of Andros. All existing settlements on Andros are on the east coast. So this landing on the west coast gave them a greater opportunity to evade detection by the authorities, and it worked for like 8 years. Okay, so a second smaller Seminole settlement had been established in the Berry Islands, and the Berry Islands is listed just above. Oh, it's not working. That's the Berry Islands. The Berry Island Seminole settlement no longer exists. Red Base still exists as a recognizable settlement. But since 1866, a major hurricane devastated much of the Bahamas, including Andros, and the colonial government at the time refused to help the residents of Red Base unless they relocated the original settlement from the coastline, which is literally at sea level, several miles inland. So the current settlement of Red Base is several miles further inland. Surnames of the original settlers are predominantly British. The only Native American family name transferred to the Bahamas with these settlers was the name Bowleg. So it's now been shortened to Bowleg. And the Bowleg family in the Bahamas are extremely proud of their Seminole connection and heritage. It's likely that while Chief Kanaji and all the others who followed after him were looking for alternatives to being corralled and restricted to tiny reservations by the U.S. government. For those of African or mixed racial heritage, finding an alternative to capture by the U.S. government literally meant the difference between a life of freedom or a return to slavery. In 1842, so we move on from the Seminoles, in 1841, the Bahamas was again able to play a key role in a bid for freedom by a group of enslaved individuals from the United States. Enslaved workers from Hampton Roads, Virginia, that's the area on the York River between Richmond and Norfolk on the coast, routinely enslaved individuals were shipped from Hampton Roads to New Orleans. In order to get from Virginia on the East Coast to New Orleans on the Gulf Coast, sailing ships needed to pass through the northern Bahamas to bypass the powerful north-flowing stream of the Gulf. And so they would pass between the Abacos and Mary Islands and then around. In 1840, the ship Hermosa ran into difficulties in the Abacos. The local residents rescued the vessel, but on arriving in Nassau, they had to go to Nassau to settle how they would be paid. And in arriving to Nassau, in Nassau, the enslaved cargo, the enslaved individuals were allowed to go free, because the British Colonial Office had made it a policy since 1825 not to recognize enslavement from any individuals coming from outside of the British West Indies. And so any enslaved individuals coming into British territory would be freed. They'd be forfeited to the crown.
Good evening. And I'm here to talk about Red Bay's Andres, known as Louis Carpet. And I'm representing the Bahamas U.S. Underground Railroad project in the Bahamas. And in the Bahamas, we have catered to many African Americans that ran the bay from the U.S. to the Bahamas. And the years has been that it has been unnoticed. Everything is centered around being Bahamian and not looking at other blacks that came into our community and made a difference in the Bahamas. So the Bahamas U.S. Underground Railroad Heritage Project is to celebrate, starting with the African American, and I'm putting markers to celebrate that they were a part of the Bahamian community. And one of the first areas that we would start with would be the Black Seminoles of Red Bay Andres. And it took me at least about working with the National Park Service, with Barbara Taggart, it took about 3 years for me to convince the Bahamas government that such a project could take place. And the first part of the project started with the Geechee Gullah Queen Quet coming into the Bahamas as an official Gullah Geechee person from the Carolinas. And she opened the way in the Bahamas that for us to accept other blacks coming to the Bahamas. And it was at her conference that I met Barbara Taggart, who was a worker with the Underground Railroad, and she got me involved. And then after that, she turned me on to Diane Miller, and then we got working. But the process was about at least a 3-year period before the Bahamas decided to accept the Underground Railroad. And I'm still working on it to get them, convince them more. We are moving. We are moving because we as some black people, you just want to be into yourself. But the ship passed by through the Bahamas, dropped some off in the Bahamas, and then they went on to the Carolinas. But we just want to believe that it just only happened for the Bahamas. And there are lots of events that I would like to see at the end of the day that would take place between the blacks in America and with the Bahamas, to bring a closer bond between the African American and the African Bahamian. I decided to look at one family in Andros, and I saw the Lewis family has been one of the prominent family in Red Bay, Andros. And not only a prominent family in Red Bay, Andros, but he sings as if all just about the community came from Sammy Lewis. His children and great-grandchildren and sings, Sammy Lewis make up Red Bay, Andros. Escaping to the destination of the South, beginning with the Bahamas. Harry Tubman introduced the North, which was Canada. But there was also routes that came to the South, and the South has not been mentioned. There's little or nothing has been said about slaves that took the South route. And what encouraged the South route and slaves running to the South, and especially to the Bahamas, was because the Bahamas is only 50 miles off the shores of Florida. And there's only a 35 minutes ride by a jet. An hour by one of the smaller planes, 35 minutes by jet. And on a boat, you could be talking about 4 hours to reach the Bahamas. So that was one of the things that we had that motivated the slaves in that time. And what seems, from my research, that slaves was in contact with each other. Messages got around from plantation to plantation, whether you want to believe it or not. They had messages, and they would tell each other where would be the lucrative place to go. The freedom seekers reached the Bahamas, and the message was that the freedom seekers would say to each other that when you would reach the Bahamas, you would be a free man or woman. And as a result, it was so much easier to come to the Bahamas than to any other island in the Caribbean. And at that time, the slaves would have gotten their freedom. The black Seminoles, freedom seekers, obtained freedom by using the underground by the sea. The Bahamas in the South was known as Freedom Land. African were known as Freedom Land for African American slaves.